playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Giants are probably going to open up 1-5 on the season. So then you start to say the fans are getting angry. They just want to see Dart. The ownership's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we'd make the right move with Russ here. But then you have self-preservation mode with the general manager and the head coach where it almost seems like it's inevitable. Midway through the season, it's going to have to be Jackson Dart. Otherwise, what are we doing, Giants?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It should be illegal for Scottie Scheffler to play on the PGA Tour. This guy can't be stopped. Another victory at the BMW Championship. He has a chip on the 17th, which will go down in the history books. 82 feet, landed 60 feet short, and then rolled the rest of the way. Super exciting win again for Scheffler, who is not only the best golfer in the world, he's becoming one of the best golfers of all time.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It doesn't matter that they're early in the game, late in the game, they're trailing, they're leading. It doesn't matter, garbage time. CeeDee Lamb is the guy, and we saw that even after Dak got hurt last year and Cooper Rush was under center. Targets were going to CeeDee Lamb. And when you can get 9, 10, 12, 15 targets on a game-by-game basis, he's going to rack up fantasy points every single week. Frankly, he underperformed last year.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Are you entertained? Yes, you are rising and grinding. Yes, you are having some fun. Yes, we are the caffeine that you need to get your day started on the SportsGrid Network, because what a day we have. Afternoon Major League Baseball action, night Major League Baseball action, a full slate of college football games on a Thursday, which then sets up your Labor Day weekend for Friday, for Saturday, for Sunday, and for Monday. And before you know it, when you say, man, Labor Day, cooked out, I'm exhausted, final trip down to the beach, final trip out to the lake house, and then football really starts in the NFL on Thursday night between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's what we do. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. It's the SportsGrid Network in your living rooms, getting you ready as your alarm clock.
Get ready, Donnie. We are T-minus a few hours away from getting this college football week one off and running, and I, for one, cannot wait. And we get a little appetizer, like you said, Major League Baseball, a couple of good games coming up.
And a couple bad pitchers to get after tonight. Cal Quantrill in Philadelphia. Ooh, that might be one. Miles Michaelis making a return in the afternoon. Maybe you go that direction. We'll find out and handicap those games a little bit later in hour number 2. But as always, time to get the people caught up on the hottest topics across the sports landscape in the 7 and 7. And that's those Kansas City Chiefs here. Why are they in the news? Yeah, they're trying to get back and win another Super Bowl for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But they will be down a key weapon for the first 6 games. Why? Rashee Rice was suspended by the NFL for 6 games for off-the-field altercations, to say the least. He's down 6 weeks. He'll return for the Chiefs, and they're probably going to be better off. But you know what? Those first 6 weeks might be a little bit of a struggle without one of their key weapons, Joe.
Yeah, but I mean, they've known this is coming. So Andy Reid and company have been preparing for this. They figured they wouldn't have him for at least 3 games, but 6 is not going to be detrimental one way or the other to them. I think they are more than capable of holding down the fort until one of their big playmaker gets back, because they still have Worthy on that team as well.
How about that? Look at that. Kansas City Chiefs off the bat here, down 1 player, but he's still got Patrick Mahomes. You're still going to be in Brazil. How's it going to be effective in a rivalry game against the Chargers, which if you're the Chiefs, you like that. You don't have to play in L.A. You get to play overseas, basically, at this point. We'll see how that one turns out, but that's a Friday night kickoff, and Rashee Rice won't be there for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know who's going to be there for the Baltimore Ravens? A guy that's going to be smiling all the way to the bank with an extra $100 million, with $80+ million guaranteed. That's Kyle Hamilton. He's a young player. He's a really good safety, and he's got a lot of money in his bank account now.
Yeah, he does. But, the Ravens show what it is to be a very well-run organization that when you've got talent, you lock that talent up because that could be an anchor on that defensive side for a lot of years to come. So kudos to the Ravens for recognizing it once again and getting it out of the way.
No distractions, Joe. No distractions for the Ravens this year. Everybody's in camp. That team is talented. That team is paid. And that team hopefully is ready to win. We understand they're always going to be good in the regular season, barring extensive injuries. The question, though, is once you get to the playoffs and once you get deep into the playoffs, can you win those football games? They haven't been able to do that. Maybe 2025 is their season. The Atlanta Falcons right tackle Caleb McGarry, he's down for the entire length of the 2025 season with a knee injury. Devastating news to a left-handed quarterback. That is your blindside tackle. That's not going to be there. That's never good news.
No, it's not, especially a young quarterback here. That is really bad news for Atlanta here, and it matters. It matters when your big tackles can't protect them and give them enough time here. We'll see if it takes a little while for the adjustment because I'd be worried about Penix Jr. here without the guy protecting him.
Penix Jr., come on now. Didn't play in the preseason. High expectations. Divisional opponent right off the bat. Let's see what we can do in Atlanta, but you're down your right tackle. Never a good start. Just imagine, Joe, game number 1, right tackle's already down. Second quarter, the backup right tackle bangs up his knee a little bit. Now you're down to a third string player defending the backside there of the quarterback. Oh, my goodness, man. Tough scene for the Atlanta Falcons. Minnesota getting a little help. When you get somebody suspended at the wide receiver position, what do you want to do? Get another wide receiver in town. Adam Thielen back in town for the Minnesota Vikings. Let the good vibes commence.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, we all knew that they were going to need some help here with Jordan Addison going to miss the first 3 weeks. They've had some injuries at the wide receiver spot. So who better than a guy that knows the playbook better than anyone, slipping right in there with a young quarterback there, and boom, you start the season, you don't skip a beat.
There you go. Let's go, J.J. McCarthy. It feels like he's under one of the bigger microscopes in the NFL. Expectations are high. Sam Darnold was fantastic, so he should be able to step right into that mode. One of the best wide receivers, if not the best in the NFL. Now you get a little bit more help there in Adam Thielen. Great play caller. We'll see if they can transition to a great quarterback as well. The New York Yankees and the Bronx Bombers, we back. 11-2 victory yesterday. That had 6 bombs hit the seats yesterday, including one from Aaron Judge. The Yankees continue to slug away at the plate against those Washington Nationals.
Well, listen, that's what the Yankees can do, which is what makes them dangerous, right? At any moment, 5-6 home runs in a game, the game is over, just like it was in the third inning yesterday that lasted over 45 minutes. But I think the best news is Max Fried looks like Max Fried again, and that is great news for the New York Yankees run here.
It is. No more blisters on the fingers, Joe. Back-to-back really good starts. That's something that might be able to carry them in the month of September as they try to chase down the first-place Toronto Blue Jays and also jump over those hated Boston Red Sox as well. The Ryder Cup, big news yesterday. No, they didn't play. We're waiting on Bethpage Black. It's going to come at the end of September. But the team was announced, and Keegan Bradley goes, I'll just be the coach this year. I could have put myself on this team and probably not got any pushback from anywhere here, but I'm going to focus on the greater good. Let me handle all the administrative duties. Let me get everybody's mind right. Let me set the matchups we need and let the boys go out and play.
I mean, just a unbelievable selfless act here by Keegan Bradley, who wanted so bad to be a player again and to win the Ryder Cup, which, by the way, the United States has lost 10 of the last 14 Ryder Cups to Europe. Bethpage back is not going to be easy, but the only 4 wins they have, Donnie, have been on home soil. So we'll see if he can get it done here as the captain.
What do you fight for, Joe? Every single game in professional sports, home field advantage, home court advantage, home ice advantage. Same thing here with the PGA. Now, granted, it goes every other year. So you don't say, hey, we win it, we get to stay at home. But it is a major advantage. Have your crowd taunting the opposing team. And in golf, that's unheard of. I'll never forget the days of like Colin Montgomery missing putts in the Ryder Cup and the crowd going absolutely ballistic. It's an unbelievable atmosphere, and it really just gets ramped up at Bethpage there in New York. Some fun times on the way. The U.S. Open, currently in Flushing, Queens right now. Side of where my Philadelphia Phillies got blasted the past 3 days, but Raducanu and Djokovic advance here. Hey, U.S. Open.
It would be great if the old man, Djokovic, can get to the final. Wouldn't it? Good one for the old man, but ultimately we all know it's going to be Sinner. It's going to be Alcaraz, and then we'll have actually a pretty good final on the hard surface.
On the hard court, Arthur Ashe Stadium. Get ready here. And I don't know. What's the last U.S. Open? I don't think it gets done until next spring at this point with how many matches they still have to go. If we do keep it in the state of New York, particularly New York City and maybe Madison Square Garden. Did you see that news? Dawn Staley met with the Knicks and would have taken their head coaching job. Like, I usually see this like, that's stupid and this and that. Like, she probably would do a good job in the NBA. Like, Dawn Staley's the one woman that I would say could probably handle the NBA and be successful.
Yeah, but nobody's successful working for Dolan. So who are we kidding? It really doesn't make a difference.
Come on, Joe. Just take the paycheck right off into the sunset. Everybody's a winner when they get fired in the NBA. More Hot Topics next includes the AFC odds.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Today's a Thursday, people, in the early line. Get excited, absolutely. It's Labor Day weekend coming up. We got a full slate of college football tonight, slate on Friday, a big-time slate on Saturday, which includes maybe the biggest game of the season getting played in week number 1. You love to see that between Ohio State and also Texas. But if I look 1 week into the future, Joe, if we skip over this weekend and just get the next week, NFL football for real on Thursday night with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. NFC East supremacy could be on the line. NFC supremacy could be on the line. You know the Philadelphia Eagles are going to bring that second Super Bowl trophy out there, parade it around, drop that banner, and the season will officially kick off. We don't know if Micah Parsons will be there. We hope he's in the building. We hope he's playing because it's good for the better of the league. But as an Eagles fan, would love Micah Parsons sitting up in a box with Jerry Jones, hanging out, eating some, chips and dip and having a couple beverages, watching the Philadelphia Eagles pummel the Dallas Cowboys. But the focus here is on the AFC, Joe. We got NFC on opening night, and then the Kansas City Chiefs take the field and going up against the Chargers on Friday night in Brazil for an AFC showdown. But if we look at the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC, they're the favorites right now at a plus 340 price to win the AFC Championship and advance to the Super Bowl, something they haven't been able to do. Schedule certainly going to come into play, but how do you feel, Joe? The Baltimore Ravens, a week out from the season, are the favorites to win the AFC this year.
Well, and look at who they start against. They've got to go on the road to Buffalo to take on the Bills in game one.
What a game.
And
what a game.
By the way, they're not the favorite. The Bills are a slight favorite in that game there. And it's also, I think, one of the only totals, Donnie, of week one in which we got over 50. I think it was 51.5. I think it opened up at 52. So talk about shootouts expected. But listen, if the Ravens can start off the right way, right? If they can go into Buffalo, beat the Bills at home, avenge the loss in the playoffs from a year ago, I think things will be looking up. But we all know not an easy place to play, even in September.
No, it's certainly not. And also, you're looking at the Ravens, there's no surprise to this. They've always been in that driver's seat here. It's like at pole position. Okay, it's us and the Chiefs. Let's see how we do. We always get good regular seasons, barring massive injuries for the Baltimore Ravens. It's what they do. We get home games in the playoffs for the Baltimore Ravens. It's what they do. We also get unexplainable losses in the playoffs where they just can't put it together. But if I look at every team in the NFL to start the NFL season, NFC and also AFC, and I just go man for man right down the line, I do think, Joe, the Baltimore Ravens are the most talented overall team in the NFL. There are no excuses. So sooner than later, we ask the questions on Lamar Jackson. Can he win a championship? And he said, he's still young at this point. But there comes a point sooner than later. It's like, hey, man, you had some unbelievably talented teams. You've gotten to the pinnacle with a chance to get to the Super Bowl. And every time you get there, you don't perform. So how does this work, Joe? Let's just say this season plays out. The Ravens, double-digit wins. We'll call it 12. They went 12-5 this year. Maybe a first or a second seed in the AFC. Playoff win, but then get bounced again. Do we just keep running it back saying, Lamar Jackson will eventually get there? Or when do we start to say, he's good in the regular season. He's just not clutch at all?
Yeah, but it's got to happen sooner rather than later, right? I mean, how long? We all know the window isn't open forever there. So, but they do have one of the better rosters. They've got a whole lot of young players. They've got guys, anchors that they've locked up now. So I think this is, we're in that time frame now where it's put up or shut up time for Lamar. Forget about MVPs, forget about everything else. The only thing that matters for this Ravens team and Lamar Jackson to cement their legacy is he's got to get to the big dance and win it all.
Yes, he does. There's only one option left for him. MVPs, great regular seasons, Hall of Fame career. You got to win that Super Bowl, and the pressure starts to mount every single year. You don't get it done because, as we said, that team is really talented, but they're talented every year. It's a great organization. Got to get over the hump sooner than later. One of those teams that's looking to get over the hump also and get back to a Super Bowl when they lost 4 straight in the 1990s, that's the Buffalo Bills. I don't like the Buffalo Bills a lot this season, but you know what I like about them? Their schedule is absolutely fantastic. I don't think this is the most talented Buffalo Bills team that we've seen since Josh Allen's been in Buffalo. Quite frankly, I think they're missing a little bit at the wide receiver position and some question marks on defense. But when you look at that opening night that we just talked about between the Baltimore Ravens, let's just say they win that, Joe. Game number 2, the Jets, supposed to be not that good. The Dolphins, probably already imploding by week number 3. The New Orleans Saints, the New England Patriots. Then you play the Falcons. Then you get the bye. I don't like the Buffalo Bills this season, but I love the schedule, which means I probably got to really like the Buffalo Bills then.
Well, I mean, listen, they're going to win the AFC East. If we're going to take them serious, they are going to win it. I mean, they've got the reigning MVP at quarterback. They've won, 5 straight AFC East titles now. I don't see a game in which, even this first one against Baltimore, and I don't see a game in which they won't be a favorite here. So I can't imagine them not having the opportunity to make a run at this again. So a lot of it, I think, is going to depend on the defensive side of the ball. They had some issues on that side of the ball a year ago, but it's a quarterback league, right? You got one of the best, but the window here is closing in a big way for the Bills. So you talk about put up or shut up time. Now is the time for them and James Cook and Josh Allen and company to get it done, at least get to the big dance here so we can see whether or not, or anybody outside of Patrick Mahomes, quite honestly.
MVP season for Josh Allen. Does it continue this year? Does it equate to victories? And also getting that number 1 seed, which is so important in the NFL. No longer 1 and 2 seeds, I should say, getting that bye. Just the 1 overall seed gets it, and that's key. And their schedule sets up wonderfully for them. The Kansas City Chiefs, who went to the Super Bowl last year after going 15-2 in the regular season. No Rashee Rice for the first 6 games. Those 6 games are the Chargers, which is a road game. Hint is a neutral site game. Then the Eagles at home, at the Giants. Baltimore Ravens at home, at the Jags. Then the Detroit Lions. Then Rashee Rice comes back. How are we feeling about the 15-2 Chiefs last year entering into this season, Joe?
Again, in the same way I felt about Belichick and Brady all those years. It's like at some point you just have to be like, whatever, go ahead. We'll see you again in the playoffs, because the idea that somebody like a Denver or the Chargers is just going to overtake, that there's going to be a drastic decline in Kansas City. I think it's a pipe dream. We're all kidding ourselves.
Oh, football is so close we can taste it, which includes games tonight. Let's get back into college football. The Colorado Buffaloes. No more Shedeur Sanders. Who steps up in his place? And also, Georgia Tech is the favorite. We'll handle that game next.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Pirates use that thing, Joe. It's like once every 15 years, we'll hope for the perfect storm with lightning in a bottle. Then we'll try to rebuild it again. Enough, man. In this day and age, with the prospects that you can certainly have by stinking every year and top flight talent like you see in Paul Skeens, it's just a shame, and it gets on my nerves. Like, for me being a Phillies fan, I think it's hilarious. Like, I never want Pittsburgh to be good. Why? Not because it's a rivalry. It's just a team you don't have to worry about in the playoffs, and your team can make the playoffs.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The NFL has ruined the concept of trade requests. It's not real. It's just a negotiating tactic. I'd appreciate reporters changing the language, because in the NBA, when a player requests a trade, they get dealt. In the NFL, nobody actually thinks it matters. If Jacoby Myers is going to buck that trend, and if Jacoby Myers is going to get traded, we'll see where he goes.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully starting in 2027, where I think the schedule could just completely get blown up, which would be so exciting for the fans, the players. So there's interesting things that I've heard that that would be like one of the first things that could say that people are talking about, and that things could really get changed up a little bit.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, we got football for days out here coming up, Joe. Thursday night football, lovely. Friday night football, lovely. Saturday football, lovely. Sunday football, lovely. Monday football, absolutely lovely. Who doesn't love that, right? Like, oh, we're used to maybe a Thursday night game and a Friday. No, we get it. Big time games all through this weekend. Week 0 last night was an appetizer, which I didn't enjoy very much. This week, much better football, much more fun, much bigger matchups.
It's across the board here. I mean, I am so looking very forward to week 1 because it's going to really set the tone for what we're going to get over the next 4 weeks early on in this football season. I'm all for it. No more cupcakes. Let's get down to it.
Look at some of that Friday action. Again, all eyes on the prize in Colorado. Deion Sanders, he's still there, but his kids aren't anymore. Both Sanders went to the NFL. One Sanders sticks with a football team. One Sanders is getting cut here, but one Sanders will be back for the Colorado Rockies. And again, that's prime time Deion Sanders. His Colorado Buffaloes will be at home taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets out of the ACC. Lineup here, -4.5. Still sitting at 4.5 to today. Some outlets there in Vegas now sitting at -4. Colorado's versus Georgia Tech's total in this game, 56.5 the opening number, Joe. I'm now seeing lines down to 51.5 at some outlets. So we'll start there. Looking at the odds itself, no movement there. The total, though, dropping like a rock.
Here's the problem. The reason you hired and brought in Neon Deion is so that after his son was gone and the Heisman winner were gone, it wouldn't matter because he can recruit anybody. It was the perception of Colorado is that now that Shador is no longer there, well, then they're just going to be absolutely awful. What are you talking about? The guy is a recruiting machine. He's gotten 3 straight top 25 ranked recruiting classes since he has been there. And while, yes, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, he's bringing in 4- and 5-star rated kids out of high school. And he's got an experienced quarterback in Caden Salter, who was at Liberty, who was one of the better quarterbacks in the other 5 conferences. So to me, the team went 9-4 last year, 5-1 at home. This is going to be a team that is improved. Everyone's expecting him to get worse, but everyone thinks Georgia Tech is somehow going to be a million times better also. I would not be laying points on the road with Georgia Tech and underestimating what Colorado has this year.
Yeah, but how about the law firm over there, Haynes and Haynes? We're talking about Haynes King, the quarterback, and Jamal Haynes, the running back, sort of a lean on at this point. But also understand this, too. Colorado plays at elevation. First game of the year, like this might not be that big of a story week 5, week 6, but everybody knows if you've ever played a sport, opening day, like me being a wide receiver, like I'm in great shape. I'm ready to go to week number 1. The first time I play in 80-degree temperatures and run post route, I feel like I ran a marathon, and I have 70 more plays to go in that football game. We'll see if that plays out a little bit, and some squirrely things do happen always in week number 1. But I'm interested. This is a really good game on a Friday because it brings in that, okay, these teams probably aren't going to factor into the national championship race, but everybody wants to see how Deion and Colorado do in game number 1 post Shador Sanders.
Yeah, and again, it's not like he hasn't been recruiting, and it's not like he doesn't have guys wanting to come to play there. So, yeah, I mean, he's got Hunter, he's got Shador. These guys are great ambassadors to Colorado, and I think you're going to see it at home, 5-1 at home for a reason. I would not be fading or just laying points with teams like Georgia Tech because we think Colorado has gone the wrong way. I'm not sure they've gone the wrong way here.
How about Army? Mikey Stadium. You know what's changing this year for the Black Knights? They actually get to serve alcohol in the stands this year. More lively appearance for the Army cadets at home. They're favored at 18.5, the opening number, dropping to 14.5 for tomorrow night's game. Tarleton State Texans. The Black Knights back at it. And with alcohol, Joe. Ooh, what a combo.
When is the last time you remember Army in a 51-point total here, which is, I think, also fascinating. And now poor Tarleton State's got to figure out, all right, now I got to prepare for the triple option and probably never see it again for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I usually always like to back the service academies early in the first half, Donnie. Wouldn't shock me if they have no clue how to stop the triple option early and Army gets out in front and plays from in front the entire game.
Yeah, Tarleton State and the boys. You got Auburn versus Baylor. Also, you got a little Michigan State versus Western Michigan. So a nice little smorgasbord. MAC teams love to play elevated competition in week number 1. We'll see if they can snap back and bite some of these teams as they creep up. We got Major League Baseball to get to. An afternoon card, a night card. We got all the winners you need coming up right here on the early line. Join us right after the break.
Alabama, Florida State, years Georgia opened with Clemson, and then Oregon and LSU and Les Miles opened with Oregon and smacked them around. Alabama knocked around USC and Wisconsin and Va-Tech for years. The SEC fears nobody.
Stop it. I love the SEC. Put them on. By the way, if we just had an only SEC college football playoff show, it would be absolutely wonderful. How about that out there, SEC backers?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
So the Mets, they went through a rough stretch where they were terrible, but, they win the series versus the Mariners. They're kind of turning things around just a little bit. Like, the offense has been there. You said they were in a playoff race. It's tough to say, they need to win. It's like trying to trust teams in different sports at the end of the season. But the hitters are hitting right now. Lean into the Mets, lean into the Phillies. These teams have something to play for, and they're cooking right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I think what you saw last year is it's tough to say, it's projectable, but I do think it's something that when you're taking shots here, you're looking for a bye-week coverage wide receiver on your roster or a guy that has upside who's young enough to grow into more of a role. I think the development of Bo Nix was stunningly good last year. If we can build on that again this year, I think Marvin Mims is a really good selection as the 57th wide receiver off the board.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
What does he do after he hits the home run? He walks over to the fan and he pats him on the back and gives him a high five. This is the same fan that's been going after him for the entire game. Dave Roberts after the game saying, hey, look, every once in a while, it's kind of funny to see Shohei, who's got this wonderful personality that we almost never see. It was great to see him do that with the fans.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Joe Ranieri, Donnie right side, early line, SportsGrid Network. Yes, we're all footballed up. Yes, we're geeked up to play football. We want maybe not play football, but at least watch football at this point. I don't know, Joe, you playing any 7-on-7 leagues down there in South Florida? It's big. You're going to go over to maybe Broward County, maybe Miami-Dade, get involved?
No, not unless it requires me to have an 8-iron in my hand. No, I'm not involved in any sort of 7-on-7 there, Donnie. Don't believe in it. I believe on betting on it, but though that ship has sailed, my friend.
Optimist football in Miami, nothing better than that, except maybe Major League Baseball with afternoon games today, Joe. We got one at 1 o'clock, 9-11, 9-12 on the rotation. That's Boston and Baltimore. Crochet and Povich on the mound. Heavy favorite for Crochet and the Boston Red Sox at a -180 price at outlets, up to -198, depending on where you're shopping. A total bouncing between 8s and 7.5s as well. Povich and Crochet down in Baltimore on a Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Baltimore having a bit of a problem scoring some runs in this series. I think they've only plated, 5 over the first 3 games, and they haven't faced Crochet yet, I don't think, this season until, of course, this afternoon, which is likely not going to go well for them here. And Povich, I don't think he's going to be able to limit the bats here of Boston. So, I could only look at maybe the run line, laying it with Boston, because I think runs are going to be very difficult for Baltimore here.
76, 77 degrees, Joe, at first pitch. Light wind blowing out to left field at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. We'll see how that one plays out. How about yesterday? Eric Fetty making a return to the mound after Ashby opened up the game, and that ended up in a loss for the Brewers, but not because the pitchers. They actually did fine. They're going to go toe-to-toe again today with the Arizona Diamondbacks, this time in the afternoon, a 2:10 start. A favorite for Jose Quintana and the Brewers. No surprise. Minus 162s, minus 165s in the sports betting landscape there, and a total overnight that opened up at 8.5, as you see on the graphic. It's 9 everywhere now. I hate betting against or for Quintana. Krismat's on the mound. Can we see another win by the Diamondbacks today? Is that possible?
Yeah. First of all, did you even know Eric Fetty was pitching for the Brewers yesterday?
No.
Like, what in the... Yeah, I had no clue where that even came from here. But, yes, that's what happened. So, Arizona getaway game here. I believe they have a series coming up against the Dodgers. And I do think that, after that loss yesterday, I would not bet against Milwaukee. They've done a really good job of bouncing back in spots like this. And I think because of the Fetty move and everyone else yesterday, I think the leverage guys, the back end of that Brewers bullpen is in much better shape here today than they were 48 hours ago.
And take a look at baseball this afternoon. 1 game in the 1 o'clock hour East Coast time, 3 games in the 2 o'clock hour East Coast time. Then we have a 3:45 game, then 6:45, 7:10, and 7:40. So you can watch your Major League Baseball in the afternoon, your baseball at night, and mix it in with a little bit of college football. I'll tell you, yesterday, you mixed in a little bit of runs. That was the San Francisco Giants absolutely smashing the Chicago Cubs. They'll do business again today. 3:45 Eastern start, which is 12:45 out on the West Coast. Imanaga, the lefty, will be on the mound for the Cubs, going up against Logan Webb, the right-handed pitcher of the San Francisco Giants. Total this game listed at 7. Favorite in this game overnight, minus 130 price towards San Francisco. That is dropped. You'll see the graphic at about a minus 116 price. Most outlets showing it basically as a true pick 'em right now. Will the real Chicago Cubs please stand up, or are they going to get shut down again by Logan Webb?
Yeah, I mean, Wisenhunt made you look stupid. What do you think Logan Webb at home is going to make you look like here? So, by the way, I mean, for whatever reason, we talked about it like, the Phillies can't beat the Mets for whatever reason. You know, the Cubs lost the series in Chicago against the Giants, and the Giants, looking to get the same thing done here at home. They have outscored during this little winning streak that they have right now, 28-9, the Giants. And they're starting to hit home runs, including Rafael Devers here. So, if we're going to get an under, this is probably the under game, right? Logan Webb at home has been much better than on the road. Imanaga has shown an ability not to be that great on the road this season. So, I think the under is in pretty good play here.
We'll see if we get an over in Philadelphia tonight. 6:45 start, 9:07, 9:08 on the rotation. The Atlanta Braves in town to take on the Philadelphia Phillies are so happy to be out of the Big Apple, getting smoked by the New York Mets back-to-back nights here. They're the favorite today, though, with Aaron Nola on the mound. 175s overnight, Joe. They're gone. Minus 188s up to minus 200s in the sports betting landscape, depending where your sports book is and where you're shopping. A total of 9 overnight. You see that graphic. We're up to 9.5 across the board. Cal Quantrill, not a good pitcher, Joe. Last 4 starts for him. 4 in the third innings pitched, 7 earned. Then he dominated, I guess you could say. 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run against Atlanta. Then he went back to being a tomato can versus Boston. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs. And his last start against the Mets, 4 2/3, 3 earned runs in that game. The Phillies, who couldn't hit the New York Mets over the final game of their series, coming home for some home cooking. They better hit Cal Quantrill tonight. I think they will.
I think they will too. Nothing like a little home cooking, and they've just got to be kicking themselves for playing the Mets right back into contention here. So, I like their chances. And again, as long as Nola can feed off of that last outing where he looked much more like Aaron Nola, we know, than his first start off the IL. But I think they're in good shape here tonight.
And also, take a look at another game with before we get to the New York Yankees, the Marlins and the Mets, the red-hot New York Mets. Now, here's the issue, right? The Mets handle the Philadelphia Phillies, Joe. What's their MO? Oh, we're going to take on the Fish? They drop 2 or 3 games there, no big deal, and we'll see if we can fight it back. That's usually what takes place here. Major going to be on the mound here for the Marlins, going up against Clay Holmes of the New York Mets. The Mets at home and a favorite, anywhere between minus 245 to minus 250 in a total of 8.5. Can we trust the Mets? Did they get real high and mighty off the Phillies and can continue that win streak? Or did they go in Mets fashion like get beat 3-1 by the Marlins tonight?
Well, they're starting to hit again, which is great, but you're right. And we had mentioned it,
brutal.
I don't like the Clay Holmes situation. I think Clay Holmes, of course, is pitching more innings than he's ever pitched. Don't forget, this is his first year as a starter. He's always been a reliever. So we're getting to that point in the season where he might be wearing down a little bit. The Marlins were supposed to have Jason Junk pitch here, but I believe he's now on the 15-day IL. So they are kind of scrambling. Great opportunity for the Mets, but I think maybe more runs are coming here. I like the over in this game at Citi Field.
Yeah, I got to do some work now because it was supposed to be Junk there and Sean Mazur. Now, maybe it's a bullpen game, and the Mets are hot at the plate. We'll see if that continues tonight. As that total is only listed at 8.5, so you're expecting with that heavy favorite, the Mets to do the heavy lifting. 74, 75 degrees at first pitch, wind blowing out the center field, 8 to 9 miles per hour. Maybe that does help here. Let's get to the windy city of Chicago because the Yankees wish they were still at home and still playing against the Washington Nationals. They're going to take on the Chicago White Sox. It's Martin versus Warren. Heavy favorite for the Yankees, no surprise. Overnight's around a -180 price, Joe. We're now seeing in the marketplace a -200 and higher, depending where you're shopping at. A total of 8.5, that's climbed to 9. I actually think we get runs tonight. I don't really like Davis Martin a ton, and Will Warren, certainly his metrics over the past 60 days analytically are a little bit high. And sneaky are those White Sox at the plate. I think we might go over the 9 tonight in Chicago.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, if they're not scoring 9, they're giving up 12 like they did yesterday against Kansas City here. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's feast or famine with the White Sox. I mean, Will Warren coming off a not a great start last time out, but you got to like team totals here, don't you? I like the team total for the Yankees.
Yep.
I think they go up and over here in Chicago for this one.
8 total games on the card as we speculated here on this. 1 at 1 o'clock, 3 at 2 o'clock, 1 at 3 o'clock, and also 6:45, 7:10, and 7:40 later. Nice little mix of action. Sometimes you look at those short cards, like, I don't really have much to bet on. I'm telling you, there are some pitchers that I think you can sink your teeth into. We didn't even get to go over Miles Mikolas. Yeah, Pittsburgh stinks at the plate typically, but I don't think they're going to stink against Miles Mikolas today. And that -120 price for St. Louis in a total that's listed at 8 to 8.5 where you're shopping at. Ashcraft, better pitcher. Maybe take the slight underdog with those Buccos here to see if they can get it done. I'll tell you who else is going to get it done next. We got Cam Stewart coming up on the show. Some best bets, some winners across the sports landscape. It's the way we get down. It's a Thursday. We are setting the table on the early line for the SportsGrid Network. Batter up, people.
First time on a casino floor and feeling a little overwhelmed? Well, here's a tip. Lots of machines have a free demo mode you can try for practice. So give those slots a spin in practice mode before you start putting down some real cash. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
If the Golden State Valkyries make the playoffs, and right now at 18 and 17, they're one game ahead of the loss column versus Seattle and the Spartans. If they make the playoffs, you must, and I mean must, give their coach head coach of the year in the WNBA.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
And let me tell you, Gabe, very similar to the Bills and the way they lose to the Chiefs with that play. It took Canadian Nick Taylor to hit a 90-foot bomb to win the Canadian Open. So let's talk about the heartbreaking fashion. It's not like Tommy Fleetwood. Sure, he's given a few away, but he's also had many stolen from him in miraculous, crazy fashion.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, Every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Your morning's just about to get a little bit better here on the early line on the Sports Grid Network. It's how we get down 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. It's the place to be, setting the table for the rest of your Sports Grid day and always having some fun. That's the name of the game and bringing you the information that you need. I'm Donnie Rightside, along with Joe Ranieri, and welcoming Cam Stewart, a very good friend to the show. He's all over the network doing big things and always bringing that energy. Cam, it's morning. Thank you for the energy today. Let's go.
Honest to God, Donnie, like you're my agent. I don't have one, but you're
Look at
hired.
that.
Do you work for free?
Pump it up.
Exactly.
do.
That was the nicest
I
introduction. Joe knows it's that time of the year where I look for, I'm that loser on the beach with a metal detector, looking for diamonds, but finding cubic zirconia. It's college football time, guys. I can't wait. What a weekend. And I'll tell you something. We got U.S. Open tennis. We got everything. We got college football, CFL football. Like, I'll tell you, Donnie, last night, too, it was amazing. Sometimes I make a lot of bad decisions, as Joe will tell you, but I had Struff over Rune and tennis at over 3-1. And
wow.
Finally, I caught a monster pooch, and that'll roll it. But instead of being a smart man and investing my money, I'm just going to throw it at some Canadian football and college football this weekend. But, guys, as Joe knows, we did a show last year. I'm hitting the dumpster pretty hard with betting on some real bad teams this week. Donnie, what do we do?
Fine. Yep. We got to find those Powerball numbers, which is what we're going to do. And we're going to jump right in because, as Cam pointed out, this is a great time of year. A lot of things starting to merge into one another. Thursday night college football, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then next week, the NFL kicks off. But if we're going to Oklahoma State tonight, the Skyhawks are in town of Tennessee Martin. That line sits around 21.5 and a total of 56.5. UT versus OSU, Cam. What are we looking at there?
I'll tell you, I was on with Wetzel and Gabe last night, and these guys looked at me like I had three heads. But the thing is, I know Oklahoma, and Joe knows, he's a Cowboy. That's his alum. But I'm going to say this. Joe brought up a great point off air. Two quarterbacks, interesting line, Donnie. And I'll tell you, UT Martin, not a great team, but asking the Oklahoma State Cowboys to win by more than 3 touchdowns, it was 22.5 on FanDuel. It's actually slipped down. I'm like, people are betting it. I thought I'd be the only guy to actually take a shot with the Skyhawks, but I like them tonight. I think this game is closer than anticipated. And I'll tell you, I don't know, Joe, like it's one of those situations. Oklahoma State, I did a show with you for a couple of years. These guys don't cover big numbers. It's just one of those things. I get it. It's UT. It's Tennessee Martin. But I'm going to tell you, asking Oklahoma State to win by margin, it's something I don't think they do a lot of, Donnie. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of weird games this week. Like the big games, I don't know how you guys are feeling. I still like Ohio State. I like Baylor. I think they're a very dangerous team in those games. Notre Dame, I'll still take them. But that's the thing. I like these loser games that no one wants to bet. People are like, why are you betting on a Kansas City Royals and Chicago White Sox baseball game? Because I like those games. Those are the games I like. They're the ones I feel. I don't know why I do, Donnie, but I don't know how you guys feel about these games, but I think a lot of interesting dogs tonight. And I'll tell you, can you guys believe how good college football is? Like, we didn't have this in the past. It used to be guys slapping around teams, 44.5-point favorites. Hey, let's just get a paycheck if you're the smaller school. We got Texas and Ohio State out of the gate, both national championship contenders, and one of them is going to get small. Like, you know what I mean? Their dreams are going to get dashed. But it is a long season, but we'll see, guys. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm looking at a lot of dogs, Donnie, and I might even include Akron on my list. Zip, 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 zip. But why is Wyoming doing any? Like, Wyoming having to travel to a MAC school? Like, you think I have faith in them? Joe, it feels like I'm fading Cowboys. Wyoming Cowboys, Oklahoma State Cowboys. We'll see how it works out.
Sensing a theme here, Cam, but what do you think we're going to get in Tampa here tonight? South Florida taking on Boise State. A lot of question marks for Boise State, but they opened up nearly a double-digit favorite. This thing is down to 5.5, 5 in spots. 5:30, 100 degrees with the humidity at USF. What are we thinking?
Great call, Joe. And you mentioned it right there. Heat, humidity. Remember the last time Boise State went into a hot weather game versus Georgia Southern? It was one of those games. It was an absolute track meet. You could see some sloppy football. People are thinking heat means tired, but it also means guys getting beat. A lot of things are going to happen. I don't know how you feel, Donnie and Joe, but I think this game is going to be like points galore. And I'm looking at USF going, they're a pretty good football team. I like Boise State this year, but traveling on the road to Tampa Bay in Joe's backyard here in the state of Florida, I'm actually going to take the USF Bulls in this spot. I think they're going to, if they lose by like 3 or 4, I think that line's a little bit too big, guys. I found a 6 this morning, but you're right. 5.5's out there. That 62 total seems high, but do you guys expect like a 38-35 type of game? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take a shot with the Bulls, guys. I don't know which dogs or what games you love tonight, but that's one that's going to make my card. Look at this. I should actually go, does this man need psychiatric help? UT Martin, plus 21.5. USF, plus 5.5. Joe's done a show with me. He's like, this is Cameron. USF over 62 at Akron. I don't know if you guys feel about another over with East Carolina and NC State, kind of a little bit of a rivalry game. We could see fireworks in that game, too. There might not be any field goals there. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. But what do you guys like? As any pooches or anything that you guys are looking at?
Never have to get me to convince me to take an over at this point. Looking at some pretty good options this weekend. But Cam, you're one of the premier golf handicappers that we have on the network. Fantastic at what you do.
Better than me, too.
Yeah, I got to ask you a question on the Ryder Cup. Team USA is favored at a minus 135. Quickly, how did you feel about the picks that went down for the U.S. team, and also the feelings of Beth Page Black and how it's going to turn out for Team USA?
Great question, Donnie. I love Cam Young being there, a New York guy. He can absolutely smash the ball. I got one issue, and it's Colin Morikawa. He has the worst form heading into this thing. And I'll tell you something, the guy missed 2 of the last 5 cuts. Tournaments, finishing dead last and at the bottom of tournaments of 30, 50, and 70 players. He's got no game right now. He goes through caddies. I know Maverick McNeely is not one of those guys, but you know what I like about Maverick McNeely? He hits the ball straight and he can putt. Colin Morikawa, in my opinion, they should have made a statement and said, you had a junk year, and you should be on this team, but that's what it is. It's one of those guys, been there, done that. Donnie, that's the only issue I had with the USA team. I don't think Morikawa could be there. And if he costs the USA, like if they lose by a half point or a point because of him, I think we're going to see some big regrets. But other than that, I love the Cam Young play.
Other than that, we love Cam Stewart appearing with us right here live in the morning on the early line, brightening up people's day here. Maybe another pooch out there. Could it be Ohio Bobcats tonight taking on Rutgers in New Jersey? Hitting 15.5. Thanks for joining us, Cam. We'll talk to you later, and we'll close down the show next.
First time on a casino floor and feeling a little overwhelmed? Well, here's a tip. Lots of machines have a free demo mode you can try for practice. So give those slots a spin in practice mode before you start putting down some real cash. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
If the Golden State Valkyries make the playoffs, and right now it's 18-17, they're one game ahead of the loss column versus Seattle and the Spartans. If they make the playoffs, you must, and I mean must, give their coach head coach of the year in the WNBA.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
And let me tell you, Gabe, very similar to the Bills and the way they lose to the Chiefs with that play. It took Canadian Nick Taylor to hit a 90-foot bomb to win the Canadian Open. So let's talk about the heartbreaking fashion. It's not like Tommy Fleetwood. Sure, he's given a few away, but he's also had many stolen from him in miraculous, crazy fashion.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
What a show, what a show, what a show. And boy, we got some action this afternoon in Major League Baseball, which transitions over to college football at night. What better place to be than on the SportsGrid Network and watching the early line with Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri and feeling the flow, having some fun. But at this time, Joe, we love to reach out to the people and see exactly what their thoughts on a question that we ask in our Fade the Public poll. The topics are always hot. We want to hear from the people, and sometimes with football season coming up, we're going to ask you those questions just to keep it simple. You don't want an algorithm you have to put together early in the morning. You want a simple question answered with a simple response here. And if you go to our SportsGrid account on X, we asked the question today in our Fade the Public poll, will Lamar Jackson win MVP this season? And for me, I did vote no. But I do think he's going to have a good season because I think he might get judged a little bit unfairly. He was sensational last year and didn't win it, went to Josh Allen. It's hard to win MVP, and it's hard to give it to people that won the MVP award before. I think a great season is on the horizon for the Ravens, but I voted no. Because why? It's just hard to win the award.
It is, and if I'm him, I'd rather not win it anyway, Donnie, because
under the radar.
What your goal isn't to win an MVP. Your goal is to win the Super Bowl here. So I believe that, listen, he'll put up his numbers. It'll be a great season for him, but ultimately there will be a better story in the National Football League this season. So I'm with you. I think no. I think his goal is to get to the Super Bowl here at this point.
Let's see what happens with Lamar Jackson. I expect big things. I love the Ravens team this year. If they stay healthy, they should compete. But again, the question comes in. Not really can he win the MVP, because he can. Can they just win a big game in the playoffs to advance to the Super Bowl with a chance to put a ring on his finger? We'll find that out. But also, Joe, sometimes in the morning we take a look at and say, hey, baseball, football, where are you going tonight in your best bets? It's bye, bye, bye. Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. College football kickoff tonight. I got a feeling, Joe, by dinner time, people are going to be watching their TV down somewhere in that South Florida range in Tampa, huh?
I love it. Yes, I am. And I think that's where I'm going to look at 5:30 Eastern time. The kickoff, temperatures mid to upper 90s, plenty of humidity. It's a blackout game for the USF Bulls here. They'll be featuring their new all black uniforms here, taking on Boise State. That is just absolutely, it's all about reputation, right? They're a Power 5 school. They're that school that's won more games like Ohio State and Alabama since 2003. Yes, but they lost all of their offensive production in the running back in Genti and their wide receivers last year. There are a lot of question marks. They're not as good defensively. And meanwhile, USF with Alex Golesh as the head coach, coming from the Josh Heupel offensive mind back in 2022-23, love the up-tempo, love the temperatures and the spot here that South Florida players are going to be used to. Boise State players are not going to be used to. I think Byron Brown has a huge game. I don't need your points. I'm taking South Florida with the upset on the money line here tonight.
Pull it up. Horns up down there. And also, by the way, trying to lead that way into that brand new stadium they're going to be getting in a couple years on their home campus there. USF, things looking up if they can knock off Boise State today. For me, I'm going to keep it simple. I like to do that. I'm going to take a Major League Baseball wager, and it's in Philadelphia tonight. It's the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Atlanta Braves. I hate the way the Phillies played the past 3 nights, but you're only as good or as bad as the starting pitcher momentum that you have the next day. Cal Quantrill is on the mound here for the Braves. He's bad, people. His last 39 batters that he's faced from the left-hand side. How about a 294 ISO? How about a weighted on-base percentage of 441? How about a hard contact rate of 63%? You know I'm looking at tonight to have a resurgence? It's Bryce Harper. A 64% hard contact rate against right-handed pitching over the past month for him. It matches perfectly. So I'm going to take 2+ bases for Bryce Harper, who quite frankly might hit a home run tonight, easily cash that at a minus 130. I'll grab the low-hanging fruit. You need offense tonight. Cal Quantrill's the perfect pitcher. 75-degree temperatures with a light wind blowing out, Joe. Bryce Harper, come on now. 2 singles, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run, whatever combination, cash that ticket.
All right, listen, I'm with you here. The Phillies need to get back at it offensively, and who better to do it than Bryce Harper leading the way?
All right, leading the way was Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside, setting up the table for your Sports Grid day today. It's like the leadoff batter. You get those swings and cuts, you put the donut there on your bat, you get some cuts in and say, okay, let's go take one for the team right now and have some fun and set the day up, which is exactly what we did. So thanks for tuning into the show, as you do each and every Monday through Friday. The best part about this, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning on a Football Friday right here on the Sports Grid Network.